for the microphone. Then you got the set on the little box over here for the microphone. And I'll turn this one on, and then I'll forget to turn this one on. So anyway, happy weekend. Happy not Monday anymore. Happy not Tuesday. Happy not weekday. I do that once in a while. It's I do that on purpose. That's for the people who've been watching for a long time. I would never just go on and be no, Mike. I'm a professional here. Okay, so I don't know what you're talking about over there with all that stuff, but I'm a professional. All right, and I don't know what I don't know what you're talking about. I was muted. I wasn't muted. That was your sound. It must have been your sound. That was on your end, right? It wasn't my fault. I'm right. Look, it's on. You can hear me, right? If you can't hear me, it's probably on you. Gay brownies, tariffs. It's the weekend, and we have started it off already because we didn't have a choice because that's how the calendar works. You see, Faith, my wonderful wife, is already out there navigating the dark morning streets to get 3 of our, I guess you could call it a team, to their football workouts today. She's out there roaming around, probably listening in the car today. She's not a big fan of getting up super early in the morning on the weekend. She doesn't like to get up weekday time on the weekend. I don't either. But I get up super early every day anyway. That being said, this meeting, she's up and she's about and everything. So that being said, this show may run a little long this morning because I may use it as an excuse to hide from the weekend honeydew list. So if you see Faith, don't tell her I said that. Oh, shoot. Oops. Hey, Faith. Good morning. Oh, what happened yesterday with tariffs? Tariffs. So the Supreme Court ruled that his tariffs were illegal. It probably is. Let's go with that. Let's hope it's raining. There's inside stuff. She got plenty of inside. I got drywall to do. She got me covered, man. Still haven't hung that shelf for those of you who are in the know. So President Trump used a special rule meant for emergencies to levy tariffs, saying it was to fix problems like unfair trade practices from other countries and drugs coming into our country. And he did this in an effort to protect U.S. workers from factories overseas and to force other countries to play fair. And I mean, even Nancy Pelosi, bring this up here, even Nancy Pelosi, let's see, even Nancy Pelosi, who now claims tariffs bad, wanted America to use them against China.
Does China have to go? How much more repression? How big a trade deficit and loss of jobs for the American worker? And how much more dangerous proliferation has to exist before members of this House of Representatives will say, I will not endorse the status quo? As I mentioned, it's about jobs, proliferation, and human rights. And there are those who say we shouldn't link human rights and trade and proliferation and trade. I disagree. But if we just want to take up this issue on the basis of economics alone, indeed, China should not receive most favored nation status for several reasons that I'd like to go into now. I'd like to call the attention of our colleagues to this chart on the status quo that the business community is asking each and every one of us to endorse today. Right now, we have a $34 billion trade deficit with China.
I think that's up to like 300 billion.
The 1995 figure. It will be over $40 billion for 1996. Since the Tiananmen Square massacre, this figure has increased 1,000%, from $3.5 billion then to about $34 billion now. In terms of tariffs, I think it's interesting to note that the average U.S. MFN tariff on Chinese goods coming into the United States is 2%, whereas the average Chinese MFN tariff on U.S. goods going into China is 35%.
Man, that seems unfair. Doesn't that seem unfair? I think that seems unfair.
Is that reciprocal? On exports, China only allows certain industries into China, of U.S. Industries into China, and therefore only 2% of U.S. exports are allowed into China. On the other hand, the U.S. allows China to flood our markets with a third of their exports, and that'll probably go over 40%. And it's limitless because we have not placed any restriction. In terms of jobs, this is the biggest and cruelest hoax of all. Not only do we not have market access, not only do they have prohibitive tariffs, not only are our exports not let in very specifically, but China benefits with at least 10 million jobs from U.S.-China trade.
So even Nancy Pelosi.
Shut up.
Yeah, she doesn't sound like that now.
Shut up.
Shut up. Shut up. Even Nancy Pelosi, other people too back in the day, despite condemning Trump's use of the IEEPA in his second term, former Speaker Nancy Pelosi once urged Congress on the House floor to use tariffs to push back on China's growing market power. Interesting. But I suppose the Supreme Court didn't like that. They didn't like it. So they issued a 6-3 ruling striking down the broad tariffs that President Trump imposed via executive order under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, otherwise known as, I mean, you know this already. You already know that's the IEEPA. That's basic, guys. We all know that. I mean, come on. I don't mean to insult your intelligence. A 1977 law that grants the president authority to regulate international commerce during national emergencies stemming from foreign threats. Essentially, they said he could levy tariffs, but not in the way that he was doing it. Chief Justice Roberts authored the majority opinion, joined by Sonia Sotomayor, Kagan, Gorsuch, and Barrett. Oh, I'm sorry, and Jackson Brown, or Brown Jackson. Clarence Thomas, Kavanaugh, and Alito dissented. The decision specifically held that the IEEPA, once again, for those in the back, that's the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. But we all know that already, right? Does not authorize the president to impose tariffs, limiting the ruling to those tariffs enacted under this statute. It does not invalidate all of Trump's tariffs. But the one thing that I think is going to make a real big mess, is that the court did not address whether companies or individuals would receive any refunds for the billions of dollars that they have paid in tariffs over the past year, leaving that to lower courts to decide. So that will be a mess, undoubtedly. On a side note, just for some statistics, because it's interesting, the money they can bring in, I mean, the money they bring in isn't, I'm not going to use that as a defense. That's not a fair defense. But in 2025, tariffs brought in $124 billion. And in January alone, they brought in $30.4 billion. There's something to be said about them. So Trump can still issue tariffs using alternative legal authorities outside of the IEEPA. And he's already signed plans to do so in response to the ruling. He announced a new 10% global tariff as a workaround and criticized the court. A little rough, calling the majority of justices fools and a disgrace. Interesting. So long story short, he can do tariffs. He just can't do them the way that he did them. I'm not 100% sure I disagree with the court's ruling. I'm sure that will surprise some people. But I'm for him using where'd that one go? I'm for him doing it, but it's a little tricky. Now, I'm not for him ignoring the Supreme Court. You would have to be a tyrant to want that, right? I would think you'd have to be a tyrant.
There has been thought, I believe, given to this. Senator Ron Wyden has already...
This is during Biden's term when the Supreme Court struck.
He issued statements, for example, advising what we should do in a situation like this, which I concur, which is that I believe that the Biden administration should ignore this ruling. The administration should ignore this ruling. I think that the courts have the legitimacy and they rely on the legitimacy of their rulings. And what they are currently doing is engaged in an unprecedented and dramatic erosion of the legitimacy of the courts. It is the justices themselves, through the deeply partisan and unfounded nature of these rulings, that are undermining their own enforcement.
So you're saying the Biden administration should ignore this court, but what does that look like? What does that actually mean?
You know, I think the interesting thing when it comes to a ruling is that it relies on enforcement. And it is up to the Biden administration to choose whether or not to enforce such a ruling.
I believe the Biden administration ignored many Supreme Court decisions, but I'd have to go back and do a little research to make sure I'm right on that. I don't want to give you incorrect information. So essentially, the Supreme Court struck it down, but Trump seems to be once again one step ahead of them. So we'll see where that ends.
Tonight,
this is interesting, though. A little bit of a side note.
breaking tonight, a Fox News exclusive. We have new information that appears to directly contradict the Biden administration's insistence it had nothing to do with the Justice Department investigations into then former President Trump's alleged retention of classified material and the subsequent raid on his Mar-a-Lago home. Correspondent David Spont has details tonight. Good evening, David.
Brett, good evening to you. These emails obtained by Fox News paint a different picture of the relationship between the Biden White House and the Biden Justice Department. These two offices made it clear at the time, at least publicly, they were not connected and stayed away from any political interference. However, new emails obtained by Fox News from May 2022, 3 months before Mar-a-Lago was raided by the FBI, illustrates coordination between the White House counsel's office and the DOJ regarding an interview of Walt Nauta. Now, remember, Walt Nauta is a current White House aide to President Trump, who was then former President Trump's aide in Florida. Nauta was later charged alongside Trump by special counsel Jack Smith. The May 10th, 2022 email reads in part, coordination with DOJ and White House counsel are in work to start the process to confirm and interview current administration employee Walt Nauta. This event is dependent upon the timeline of President Biden's brief decision and coordination between White House counsel and DOJ, and in turn, Evan Corcoran's position on the override of privilege assertion and whether or not he seeks an injunction to prevent access.
I think
that was
these are
written
going to
by an
start
FBI
crumbling.
agent, and Evan Corcoran, of course, one of Trump's lawyers at the time. This coming August, Brett, will mark 4 years since FBI agents raided Mar-a-Lago. A few days after that, then Attorney General Merrick Garland said this.
I personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter. Second,
That's
the
what a
department
tyrant
does
looks like.
not take such a decision
What a
lightly.
traitor to your country.
And we're getting
looks
new reaction to these emails. Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan in the House says in part, it's always worse than we thought. These newly released documents confirm that the Biden DOJ's raid on Mar-a-Lago was politically motivated.
Yep. But we all knew that back in the day, right? Except for the useful idiots out there that were refusing to acknowledge it. So yeah, essentially SCOTUS ruling basically says that Trump was using the wrong law for his tariffs. So Trump just issued the same tariffs under a different law, increased them by 10%. Thank you for your attention to this matter. It's Biden died. They had a malfunctioning clone take his place. It's funny. I see a story the other day saying that Biden died in 2019 or something like that. I don't know anything about. I don't believe a lot of that stuff. You know, they talk about the masks and he wore a mask and it wasn't really Biden and blah 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 blah. But who knows? Who knows?
And in full.
Check out this little clip here of Trump talking about those tariffs.
In order to protect, and it says so, in order to protect our country, a president can actually charge more tariffs than I was charging in the past period of a year under the various tariff authorities. So we can use other of the statutes, other of the tariff authorities, which have also been confirmed and are fully allowed.
That's the answer to your
Therefore,
question. What
effective
should you do now?
immediately, all national security tariffs under Section 232 and existing Section 301 tariffs. They're existing. They're there. Remain in place,
Yes.
fully in place, and in full force and effect. Today, I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122 over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. And we're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations to protect our country from unfair trading practices of other countries and companies.
Like, China will be
Thank
one.
you for your attention to this matter.
Yeah, you're welcome, Mr. President. You are welcome, Mr. President. I'm just checking to see if I have anything else on that issue before I move on, because we definitely have some other issues to talk about. It's just I don't know who's been following. This is just a nice uplifting little thing here. I don't know who out there has been following the story of this monkey Punch the monkey, who I think it's in, I don't know if he's in China or where he's at. He's in a zoo, and he's a baby monkey, and he was rejected by his mother, so now he's been walking around the place all sad and getting picked on by the other monkeys. They gave him a stuffed animal that's a monkey. He's been carrying it around with him. It's super cute, but it's a very kind of a sad story. And then someone posted this where an adult monkey gave him a big hug the first time he's felt love. It's so nice. Look at that. That's just nice. That kind of stuff reminds you that we're all people. We're all kind of the same. We have the same emotion. We have similar emotions and things like that. There's some curiosity on the side there. But yeah, that's just nice. I'm glad that's kind of working out. That's a sad little story. I don't know if you're following it, but speaking of another sad story, man. And I'll bounce back. So I'm just bouncing around for a second here, and I'll get back to the gay brownies and some Epstein stuff. This is Axl Rose. I'm sorry, man. It's time to hang it up. It's probably time to hang it up, dude. Just hang it. It's okay. You had a good run, man. You had a good run. It was good, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Oh my gosh. It's interesting to me sometimes when I scan through the chat how some people can be so subverted. Just believe everything they read, just all of it. Just all of it. Ice. We want to talk about ice. What do we want to talk about here? The Bears are leaving. Is that true? They're leaving Chicago. We got gay brownies to discuss. We can just go right to the gay brownies. Let's get the gay brownies out of the way. Then we can just start. We could talk a little bit about these school protests too, which have been going on, which is horrible. It's horrible. Let's see here. Gay brownies. Where are my gay brownies? Don't give me this crap. Did I not save it? Dang it. Oh, well. Give me a second here. In the meantime, watch this real quick. This is a 13-year-old kid, Sullivan Clark, who got his neck slashed. And his appearance on Fox News, I think, is pretty funny if you haven't seen it. I'm going to play this while I'm looking for that other video.
Situational awareness, as they call it.
I mean, I think, yeah, but I don't think it should have to be like that, you know? Like, it's kind of dumb.
Lori, Mom, I bet you are protective
Yeah, we
mama
don't
there.
know. Yes.
Of course, of course. I mean, he was only 11 feet away from me when this happened, maybe 12 feet. It's absolutely horrifying. And he's had nightmares. We don't know. Hopefully we are fine, and there's nothing more to come. And his little brother, who's 11, who saw everything as well, seeing his brother's neck split open, you know, there might be some trauma, and we're very upset.
Well, I can't even imagine. Situational awareness, as they call it.
You gotta love it.
I mean, I think, yeah, but I don't think it should have to be like that, you know? Like,
Long story short, I was trying to find this video of a gay teacher who was speaking at a or a school board meeting. I forget it. He was speaking at a school board meeting, and he was saying that he's a gay teacher, right? And it was in Duval County, Florida. I wonder if I can. I forget it. Mentioned in a school board meeting back in October that his husband baked brownies for the students, his students. I'm not really a fan of teachers like baking food for the students and bringing it in and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not necessarily against it, but I'm not a fan of it. I mean, years ago, it wouldn't have been a big deal. Heck, in my second grade, when I was in second grade, our teacher took the class on a field trip, which isn't that abnormal, except for the fact that that field trip was to her house. Yeah. We took a field trip to my second grade teacher's house. But then again, back then, I mean, we didn't even know anything about our teachers' personal lives. We thought they lived at the school. I think that's why she did that, was to prove that she didn't live at the school. Because, you know, back then you didn't know these things. You didn't know if your teacher was gay or straight or any of that crap. Heck, we didn't even know if they were married. Now they seem to know everything about these teachers. We had a principal. We had a principal back in the day in our junior high classes that used to, I'm gonna phrase this the right way. He used to select girls to take to lunch off campus, like once a week. So, well, maybe that kind of backs up my point, really, huh? So the idea of a teacher bringing in the food that his quote unquote husband baked for students doesn't concern me really that much. Until I start to consider the crazy stories that I've heard over the years about activist teachers focusing on indoctrination and indoctrinating their students rather than just educating them. The ones who pick indoctrination, the ones who want the kids to leave the class thinking like they do, is typically a problem. So one thing that he said during that school board meeting when he was talking at the podium was, quote, now remember, he's bringing brownies to class that his husband baked for the class. Seems innocent enough. Here's some brownies, guys. But it's a technique. It's a strategy. See, he says, quote, I'm queer without me needing to say it. That should be the end. That should be the end of the statement. That's how it was with us. We might have had gay, I'm sure we had gay teachers back in the day, but we didn't really know. There was rumors. I mean, you can always kind of tell. Let's be real. Anyway, he said, I'm queer without me needing to say it. When I bring in brownies, I get to tell my students that my husband made these. So the brownies are really just a way to start that perverted conversation with little kids. That's what it is. I swore I had that dang video. Oh, well, I guess I don't have it. Is what it is. That's the point, though. Activist teachers are out of control. Out of control. The Somalians are out of control. You hear about this garbage going on in Minnesota. They have some demands. You know what? Let me fill my coffee back up. I'm gonna let me get a refill on my coffee real quick. I'm just trying to leave something here for you to watch while I'm there. I don't want to put fights on there for you to watch. We don't need to see fighting. Oh, okay. This one looks interesting. This one says, chaos erupted at a school board meeting when an unhinged queer activist, mom, threw a tantrum and had to be dragged out. The board was simply discussing necessary cuts to gender inclusivity programs in compliance with President Trump's funding crackdown. Man, I think I might want to watch this one myself. Yeah, give me just a sec. I'm just going to run. I'm just going to run and I'll be right back. I just got to make some coffee, so we'll be right back. Let me put this on there. Maybe that'll help so people don't leave. I don't know. No, starting soon doesn't work. All right, give me a sec. I'll be right back. And I'm back, guys. I'm back. Woohoo! I'm back. Fresh coffee. We're good to go. Oh, this is happening all over the place, I see. This one says, I don't want to get into all this, but fight break out at school board near Los Angeles meet. Oh, that's last summer. That's not even new. That's not even new. Let's get to I'm gonna hit the teacher stuff. Oh, there it is. This is the speech that the teacher I was talking about, the gay brownies guy.
What's up, y'all? My name is Steven Izikoff, and I've been a Duval teacher for 7 years, and I'm here to tell you today that in spite of all the haters, I'm still having the time of my life. I've missed y'all since speaking here in October, but since then I've become even more queer, more resilient, and more powerful.
How do you become more queer and more powerful? Where's the power? Where does the power reside?
Than ever before. In spite of the zealots and idolaters misquoting the Bible, suggesting I'd be killed, or an embarrassingly wasteful attempt to frighten me out of the classroom.
There's the victimhood thing. Got to be the victim. That gives you credibility.
Than ever before. In spite of the zealots and idolaters misquoting the Bible, suggesting I'd be killed, or an embarrassingly wasteful attempt to frighten me out of the classroom, I can't wait to see my students tomorrow, or my club members next week. Here's to another 7 years of me being a bald, bearded, queer teacher in Duval County. And happy Insurrection Day for all who celebrate.
Yeah, Insurrection Day, because that was January 6th when he gave the speech. That's a guy's got a mental disorder. Doesn't mean he's less of a person. Doesn't mean I hate that guy. Doesn't mean I hate what he's doing. I hate what he's doing. I hate how he uses brownies so he can introduce disgusting sexuality and perversions to children in school classrooms. I have a problem with that. I hate that. But I don't hate him. Everyone can be redeemed. Even him. Even him and all these protests and stuff going. Let's watch this one where this lady freaks out because they're making cuts. Let's check out this one. And I want to get to the Somalians too and some of the protest stuff that's going on. A lot of fights breaking out. Somalians have some demands that they need to discuss with us. They have some demands that they need. So we'll have to check those out.
I have a right to be here.
I understand. You forfeited that right. Are you refusing to leave? That's my question.
Sir, I have a right to be here.
I understand. You forfeited that right. So you are refusing to leave.
Sir, I have a right to be here.
I understand. At this time, myself and my officers are going to escort you out of the building. All right.
I am not resisting.
Okay.
I am not participating. I am in no way resisting. I am not participating. I am in no way resisting. I am not participating. I am practicing my rights as a parent. I am in no way resisting. I do not pose a threat to anyone.
Why make these officers do this? And then you know, it makes it so you can make the officers the bad guys if it gets a little ugly during the situation.
And I am in no way resisting. I am not resisting, and this is what fascists do.
Now she's mad because she has to get, she's out. As any video, what is important and what we're not showing here is what happened before the video started. I don't have the answer to that. But we always need to ask that question because that's how they get us. That's how they get you. Sometimes that's how they get you. I mean, our schools, they're doing a bang up job out there. They're doing a bang up job. Here, let me see. There's another example of a bang up job because protesting is more important than learning, guys. Remember that, especially in these low performing schools where proficiency in math and English and things like that are super low. But protesting is important, guys.
This afternoon, a mother says she just wants answers after her special needs son is found wandering miles away from his school when he was supposed to be in class.
I don't feel safe. I'm just scared to go back. There's something could happen that same day again.
11-year-old Richard Harley says he doesn't want to go back to class after he was found wandering, scared and alone, miles away from school grounds following a student-led walkout protesting ICE.
They were supposed to stay on 72, by the school, but they did the exact opposite. It went just way more farther, and no one even knew how far they were going.
So you kind of got
separated. I was the last one, so I was all alone.
The incident happened Tuesday morning at Dundee Middle School in the far northwest suburb where the sixth grader is a student.
What's going on?
His mother says she was not notified about the walkout, and because her son has special needs and an individualized education program, or IEP, takes issue with him being allowed to leave campus without supervision or parental authorization.
That doesn't have anything to do with the fact that he's special needs. They should have that problem anyway.
Why didn't I get, a notification that he was tardy, or absent for that matter? Why didn't they even bother calling in?
Blaisdell says her son didn't understand what the walkout was about and merely went along with the other students when they went outside. She says the protest turned dangerous for Richard when he couldn't keep up with the other kids who were marching along Main Street and Route 72 Higgins Road. Blaisdell said her son called her in a panic.
He said, "You just need to come pick me up. I don't know what's going on. I'm very scared."
The 34-year-old mother of three says she called police but was able to locate her son through his cell phone about 10 minutes later near the busy intersection of 72 and Randall Road.
It's not right because my kid, again, is supposed to be safe, in school.
Right? It seems pretty simple. You
This afternoon,
you drop your kid at school, you kind of expect that he's going to be at school. the brain rot on the left is it's getting bad out there. But this is a good example. It's a shame. It's a shame, but it's a
There's
good
a house
example.
near me that I drive past all the time that has like so many Trump signs, so many Trump flags. And it always, I just fucking roll my eyes. I give it the finger, even though nobody's outside. I give it the finger every time I drive by. But today when I drove by, there was a cop, a firefighter, and an ambulance there. And somebody was being put into the back of the ambulance. So today's going to be a good day. There's a house near me that I drive past.
I tell my kids, when we drive by an ambulance, like say we're driving by a car wreck or something, and we drive by that wreck and there's an ambulance there, I try to tell them, because I do this myself, I always try to tell myself, like you're sitting in that traffic and you're mad because you're sitting in traffic and it sucks and everything's taking a long time and it might be hot out, maybe your air conditioner doesn't work, whatever. I try to point out the fact that no matter how, it's a very inconvenient what's happening to me right now. I'm stuck in traffic. But those people, that person being put into that ambulance might be right now, as we are talking, having the worst day of his life, just the worst possible day of his life. And then does that put it in perspective that you're sitting here complaining about traffic while this guy's getting loaded onto a gurney and taken to a hospital for maybe, months of rehabilitation? Who knows? But that's the point. It's like, hey man, let's understand, let's acknowledge that other people suffer too. And let's try to put those people ahead of our own. Where are we at here? Let me pop to the bottom here real quick and see what's going on in the chat, and then we'll. Oh, someone demanding we talk about certain things out there. Oh, there we go.
Maggot.
Watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get on here. I'm gonna call him a maggot. Watch.
Maggot.
Oh, did I get him? Did I get him good? Is he all upset and flustered because I called him a maggot? Finally, this guy is calling Trump out. Man, if you would pay attention a little bit, you'd understand I'm not a cheerleader for Trump. I'm a cheerleader for conservative values, for Christian principles, and for America. And that's it. If he falls outside that, then I can't support it. This stuff here. ICE is I'm sorry, I forgot.
ICE is the Gestapo of your fascist government.
I don't know how we get there. I really don't. It's just a lack of historical knowledge, which is what it comes down to, I think, to be honest with you. That's what I think it comes down to. So many cowardly,
fearful, homophobic, closeted, hate-filled, religious fanatics, rage-baiting the masses.
They're very dramatic. It's very dramatic. Homophobic. That would mean that I was scared of gay people. No, we're not scared of gay people. That doesn't make any sense. We just want to point out that we believe it to be a sin. I want to talk about TDS all the time. Y'all are so triggered by everything to the point where now everybody's flipping out about some school protests. Whatever, there are more important things. I mean, Brian, do you have kids, Brian? I wanted to answer me just, it's such a rhetorical question. But if you have kids, Brian, you might understand. You sound like somebody who doesn't have kids, who's never dropped any kids off at a school and left them there. That's what you sound like. The kids go to school to learn. That's it. It's not to socialize. It's not to protest. It's not to do any of that other stuff. It's to learn. That's what they're there for. Everybody's flipping out over some school protests. Yeah, maybe because kids are getting hit by cars and other bad things are happening. Kids are getting arrested. They're going into Kroger's, I saw, and messing up the store and getting the cops called on them there. You can't be this naive to what's going on around you, right? You can't think it's a good idea to just let kids, minors, leave school and go out and protest in the world and just put them out there where there's evil and bad people and all kinds of stuff. Just expose them to those elements instead of keeping them shielded in the safe school where the parents expect them to be. Yeah. 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 It seems to me that you must not have children. That's what that would be my guess. Because it seems like a pretty common sense thing that if I drop my kids off at school, that's where they're going to be. It seems. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know. Virtue signaling out there in the chat. Man, I didn't realize we got people out there that are like in the chat while they're at a soup kitchen handing out food and stuff to people. It's amazing. It's amazing. We're just bouncing around now. I hit my main topic, which was the tariffs. And now I'm just kind of bouncing around like we've lost these children. They've been subverted.
And immigrants built this country!
To set up a microphone at one of these school protests, which is actually at least on the school grounds. At least that's on the school ground.
Trump's a dictator! My name's Lily Payne. I'm a sophomore. I have friends who are immigrants. I have neighbors who are immigrants. No one is illegal on stolen land. I'm Stella Nickel. I'm in 9th grade, and my baby brother's nanny has been told to stop taking my baby brother out because of ICE, and no one should be taken from their home just because of who they are.
My baby brother's nanny? Do you have an illegal alien as your baby brother's nanny?
I'm Leilani. I'm a sophomore. I come from a Latina immigrant, and I have studied history too much to let this go by and not do anything about it.
My name is Fee Champion, and I'll be damned if another person in my family has to tell a refugee story.
My name's Cassie Graham. I'm a junior. ICE, only thing more powerful than hate is love. Hi, I'm Vivian Bell, and I have Mexican family. If I wasn't here, I'd be fucking disappointed in myself.
My name is Eleanor Brown. I'm in 9th grade, and my best friend could get taken by ICE, even though she's an American citizen.
My name is Layla Shaw. I am a freshman. My grandparents on my dad's side are immigrants, and I believe that no humans are illegal, and this is just nothing short of terrorism. Screw ICE. I chose to support this because I don't appreciate what is going on in our country, and I think that it's so important to speak up for the people who aren't able to speak up for themselves. This is the first. Screw ICE. And I believe that no humans are illegal.
No humans are illegal. Does that mean just get rid of all the borders? that means? What's the end game there? Just a little curious what your end game is there. Is there one? I love this. Watch this right to the end. And I guess I'll get into the chat. We'll talk about some topics or whatever, but I'm just Saturday is kind of a bounce around day, just kind of check things out, do whatever. This is a Minnesota GOP Congress member in a state Congress member in Minnesota.
An invasion, it's an occupation. People are being kidnapped, not detained, not arrested, kidnapped. Rhetoric like that, and the stance that your party has taken from top to bottom, from Governor Walz all the way down, that there is no legitimacy to federal authority is nothing less than insurrectionist rhetoric. And that is why, take your moment, I got mine. Take your moment to digest that. Look it up. The number of lawyers that are laughing at me right now.
Right.
Do you understand how the supremacy clause works? Do you understand what insurrection is? It's the undermining of federal authority. January 6th, thank you so much for bringing that up. You guys went on and on and on about that for what, 4 years? What? Yeah, it's still celebrated as a holiday on your side of the aisle. One riot on one day. It's an attack on democracy. You ran an entire election on it. For months and weeks on end,
Trigger
we've
in
had the top
10,
law enforcement officer in this state, the
9,
governor in this state, the mayor of Minneapolis,
8.
and many of you actively undermine federal authority when it comes to immigration law. And acting upon that rhetoric
Here
People
comes.
like Renee Good and people like Alex Preddy put themselves in harm's way. They did what you
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Point of order. Point of order. Personality is not allowed in debate. We are not going to allow you. We are not going to allow you to impugn community members who have been murdered by the federal government. How dare you? That is shameful.
And she can impugn the federal government. Hey, you know, right? And I said, come on, you're a hypocrite right there, being a hypocrite. Does releasing kids into the streets to be wild make kids more safe? Kids are getting mass shot almost weekly. I don't have kids. Somehow I knew that. But I would be more worried about firearms and gun violence in this country. That kills your kids more than anything else. That doesn't really address but we're talking about school protests. So you're telling me that you think that kids should be allowed to just get up out of class and walk out of the school and go protest, and the school shouldn't do anything about it? Or even in some cases, like with my kids' school in the past, promote and support that behavior? Do you think that's a good idea? I mean, it's pretty clear it's not. So many cowardly, fearful, homophobic, closeted, hate-filled, religious fanatic. Did I do that one already? They all these hate messages sound the same at this point. I bet none of them know what ICE stands for. It's probably true. That's probably true. And then you got Iran, man. I don't know I really fully intend to be waking up one of these mornings and doing like we did when Venezuela was going on, and having a live stream in the morning, trying to keep everybody updated on the news of what's going on with the latest attack or military action, or whatever you want to call it. This is Iran's parliament. They're burning an American flag, chanting "Death to America."
متشکرم. آقای گورکن مراقب باشید مجلس آتش نمیمونه. متشکرم. بفرمایید. اگر اروپا و کشورهای مهم مثل روسیه و چین این خلأ بین المللی را پر کنند، شاید راهی برای ادامه مسیر باشد. در غیر این صورت جمهوری اسلامی با اقدامات هسته‌ای خود ایشان را سر عقل می آورد و این را
Yeah, it's interesting. What does someone just say here? The Supreme Court, Tinker versus Des Moines, say these kids can protest. That's not really what it says. I mean, it does say that. It doesn't say they can leave school grounds and go do whatever they want. It's supposed to, let's see, the court case that protects students' rights to engage in peaceful protest and symbolic speech at school. It was sparked because kids were wearing black armbands to protest the Vietnam War, and the school suspended them. The school can still restrict and punish students for doing these things. So no, the Supreme Court, Tinker versus Des Moines, does not say these kids can just go out and protest and do whatever they want and run through the streets and all that other stuff. It doesn't say that. Yeah, show these kids what true communism is, right? Show them that. Show them the truth. Our kids should be not learning how to be pawns for their teachers' ideological beliefs. 100%. 100%. Eminem. I look like Eminem? Nah. These kids have more sense than adults in 2026. Okay, if you think so. I mean, that's just an opinion, I suppose. Everybody's entitled to them, right? This is I'll get to that in a minute. Let's just do the chat for a little bit. Let's see here. Right. These kids have more sense by leaving school to not learn. Hypocrisy at its finest. Yeah, Democrats do want them to be dumb. And the stolen land thing is kind of silly. I don't know what to make of this, but 11-year-old charged as an adult with criminal homicide after shooting his sleeping father, 42, on his birthday. He told authorities he found the keys to the gun safe while searching for his Nintendo Switch that had been confiscated.
How are you holding up, Clayton? What happened that night? How are you holding up, Clayton?
Damn, man. 11 years old, being tried as an adult. That seems a little... I don't know, man. What do you think about that one? What do we think about that one? That's a little crazy. Like the NPC repeats, right? Yeah. Who cares? Who cares? I did like this. It's about time to see some people standing up in Australia. Muslims try to block the street for prayer.
Guys, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh my God! What are you doing? Stop!
No guns in the house. Oh, I'm sorry. All cops. I forgot the rules.
No guns in the house. No murder, Republican bitches.
Wrong. Maybe secure your weapons, you know? I have weapons and I secure them. My kids aren't going to get to mine. If you have a weapon, you should have the responsibility to be able to lock that shit up. Yeah, I don't think he should be charged as an adult. The whole thing is very unfortunate, but the kid, he's thinking like an 11-year-old. You know? I don't know. Yes, exactly. Responsible gun owners is the answer. That seems to be rare nowadays. So the Somalians, that's what I forgot. The Somalians they have demands, guys. They have some demands for all the stuff that they've had to put up with from ICE. Their demands, they want reparations. Their demands for their ICE trauma, free cash grants to immigrant businesses under 200K, stop all evictions and free rent. Stop all evictions, and they want free rent. They want reparations for ICE trauma. They want a government apology and, quote, accountability. They want ICE banned from their neighborhoods. And they want, quote, justice for the, quote, martyrs. Let's see what they have to say here. Sure, it's totally reasonable.
Relief program fits into our criteria of small business owners, not those who make 200,000 and above. We don't make that much amount. We have been suffering since the crisis of ICE. We also demand an immediate help to evictions so families are not pushed to homelessness during the crisis. Our community deserves accountability. Our community deserves safety. We need also justice for those who lost their lives defending the community.
Defending the community. They lost their lives defending the community. Is that what happened? Is that what happened? Where'd that one go? Independent, not part of the beast. You know, I'm registered independent for many, 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 many years. I actually switched to Republican a few years back because I was considering running for an office. So I need to be a Republican to do so, I guess. Registered Republican to run as one. So now I'm a registered Republican, although I'm not exactly proud of that because, I mean, the Republicans are pretty pathetic. I think this last year in Congress, they only passed like 38 bills. Meanwhile, Trump's moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour and Congress is dragging their feet behind him because establishment, pretty sure that's what it is. That is 100% accurate. If we don't have guns, we don't have rights. Let's just give our rights away. Look at UK. Look at these countries that gave their guns up. Oh, wow.
They are satisfied with a ruling.
Canada is the most. What's up, Canada? Come on. Anyone out from Canada in there? Can you explain this to me?
My name is Alex Frederick Mignot. My pronouns are they, them.
Alex Frederick Mignot says they are satisfied with a ruling by Quebec's Human Rights Tribunal. Mignot complained that a salon's online booking system was discriminatory to non-binary customers. It was ordered to pay $500.
To see the tribunal side with me on that and say that, you know what, non-binary people shouldn't be forced to.
Non-binary people aren't real.
Pick man or woman, and it's not fair for them. I was so relieved and happy to hear that.
It all started 2 years ago when Mignot wanted to book a haircut at Station 10 Salon in Longueuil. Customers are asked to choose whether it's for men, women, children, or someone with a beard or braids, something Mignot refused to do.
It's a repetition of a trauma that I keep living over and over again, and it cuts me off from society.
They filed a complaint with Quebec's Human Rights Commission. The salon offered Mignot 3 free haircuts and changed its website to include a non-gendered option. Its co-owner says he's surprised the issue wound up in court.
Well, it's $500. It shouldn't end up in court. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. You're not excluded. They didn't exclude you. You excluded you with your mental disorder type behavior.
This host is clearly not independent. He makes excuses for Trump not stop, then denies that he does. It's hypocrisy.
Everything you say is so profound. I don't know why I read any of them, to be honest. It's like people like that are interesting to me because they'll go and they'll be like, I don't know how to even say it. Like, you know, it's like playing chess with a pigeon, right? Like they say that old joke, like playing arguing with a liberal was like playing chess with a pigeon. You might win, but they're still gonna knock all the pieces over. What I forget what it is, but basically have a little temper tantrum and yada yada yada. Oh, coffee calls. Oh, I didn't see what that was. Gun laws save lives. How do they save lives? How do gun laws save lives? I argue that the more guns we have on the street, the safer we're going to be. That's my thought on the matter. Yeah, exactly. Turns out if you think everyone's armed, you'll think twice about committing a crime. I remember hearing a story like maybe it was 20 years ago, and I don't even know. I'd have to go back and look it up and see if it was truth to it. But there was a town in Georgia, I think, that made it a local law that if you were the head of household, you had to own a weapon. You had to own a gun. And you see that the lefties out there just make up stories, make up narratives, and then they argue as if they're true.
And you get fucking.
It's funny. It's funny. They believe themselves to be effective. It's interesting. This lady's another nut job. Good on these police. Good on these police.
And you take down the blacks and you get fucking on video.
She sounds drunk.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
Look at me. What training have you had regarding mania?
And you're good on your medication then? Are you
condescending and talking down to me now?
I'm not. I'm actually asking.
Oh, really?
Are you on a new medication at all?
No.
Okay.
I'm not.
Okay. Is there anything that's
Who are
changed?
you, Hastings?
I'm an officer of Portland Police. I'm an ECIT officer.
Oh, really? And you're really an expert on mental illness, aren't you?
Well, I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist or something.
No, you're not.
Okay.
And I'm the fucking smartest person you have ever fucking met.
They all think that. They all think that. Even the ones in the chat right here.
Smartest person you have ever fucking.
Yeah, psychiatrist.
They all believe
you're
it.
Not.
Okay.
And I'm the fucking smartest person you have ever fucking met. So get the fuck down.
That could be anybody.
Off of my
That could be a lot of
Did you
people
go
in the
to
chat
college,
over there on that other
Hastings?
side. It's funny.
You did? What'd you study?
Outstanding.
Social sciences.
Oh, social
And I have
science is
minor in
great.
psychology.
Oh, minor. You should know a little bit about it then, right?
And Jamie, every time I just try to have a normal conversation with you, it just goes right to insults.
Is that against the law? Is it
No,
is
but-
against the law
can you
to
understand
insult
how-
a man in
Can you
blue?
understand how it's not a normal conversation?
You guys get called
Why-
shit all the
and
time.
why we're concerned?
And you take down the blacks and you get fucking on video.
blacks.
That's false.
Jamie, we're leaving. Have a good day, Jamie. We're leaving.
I want him arrested for physical assault, you fuckface. Hastings. Oh, the little Hastings boy who got bullied. Or he's
Listen to that little girl, man. It's fucking crazy, people. Crazy. I bet she does have those crazy eyes. So no one cares about Trump deleting the files that he's in with a 13-year-old. And you need to read the news or quit reading the news or switch your news sources or whatever. We went over that in pretty detail. That whole incident you're talking about with this 13-year-old girl and blah blah blah. So maybe you should do some more research on that, because what you're saying is not accurate. But it's all right. The left doesn't really need to depend on facts. They can that's the benefit the left seems to have, is they can just make up stuff. They can just make up stuff, pretend it's real, and that's that. That's it. No more needed. Just that. Let's see here. Oakland County. Who's this? There have been many moments over the last year of cruelty and chaos that have demanded more clarity. This is one of them. ICE cannot be repaired or reformed under Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, and we do not want this new office in our community.
We do not want ICE to terrorize Southfield, to terrorize Oakland County, to terrorize Metro Detroit, and to terrorize the state of Michigan. Let's be clear. There is a rot in ICE from the top to the bottom. This is not an agency that can be repaired or reformed under Donald Trump or Kristi Noem. This administration has lowered ICE's hiring standards, reduced its training, and has made us all less safe. And ICE lies and destroys the public trust, telling us not to believe our own eyes as it portrays its victims as aggressors, even when the evidence indicates that the agents are the perpetrators. What most Americans say that they want is an immigration system that is fair, orderly, and humane. This office will not represent that. And we do not want this office here. There have been too many moments over this last year of cruelty and chaos that have demanded moral clarity. Unfortunately, this is another one of those moments, but we are here simply to say, keep ICE out of our communities.
Huh? All right. Yeah, I thought I could run out, grab myself a new coffee before that video was over. I guess I was wrong. What we got here? Oh, yeah, that. Let me see if I can find a better. One sec. Where's that one? Yeah. I'm not sure if this is the best video, but I guess they, let me find a better one still. Dang it. There's this dance video. I'll bring this one up. Reenactment of Renee Good and the Alex Petty. There we go. That'll work. I'm going to put this full screen so you can see this beautiful art.
D.C., portraying the ICE shooting deaths of Renee Good and Alex Petty. The performance was framed as a protest and drew attention from bystanders. Supporters describe it as political expression. Critics argue the reenactment is inappropriate. The demonstration has quickly sparked debate online.
Looks pretty stupid to me.
By Chris Young.
It's like, whatever. So what's that accomplish? Nothing, I guess, but I'm not sure what the point of it is, to be honest with you. Where are we at? Come on, computer. There we go. Students in Quakertown Community School District reportedly arrested after 35 students stormed out of school to protest. Oh, go figure. It's so weird that they would do that. They don't do that, right? They don't let them do that. Maybe we should keep our kids in school. Lion can't leave. He's compelled. He's compelled to stay here. He needs everyone to know how smart he is and that he is the smartest person that we have ever met. He's never wrong. He understands all the policies. He knows all the facts. You can't fool that guy. He is really, truly on top of things. Matter of fact, he makes me a little bit nervous. I'm afraid that he's going to expose me. It's so scary. Of course, you answered my question about the files being deleted. I answered your question the other day.
fucking
when
cops
you
to
asked
beat
it,
on children.
but you didn't pay attention to that, and then you asked the question again. You did that to me last week too, so it's clear that you're not looking for an answer. It's clear you're just trying to take over the chat. So that gets a little bit old. You're on top of things. Well, maybe I'll tell you what. Let's just do this because it'll be fun. I like to do it. I haven't done it in a while. Let's give you a 5-minute timeout. I'll give you a 5-minute timeout. Maybe during those 5 minutes, you could use your time to go out there and actually research a topic. Maybe I don't know. It takes a little time. Yes, the point is to gin up hatred for law enforcement. Artists are easily compromised and used to spread propaganda during a color revolution. Yeah, I don't mean to, and I'm not saying that you're saying that, but I don't mean to like disparage the actual art. I like art. Art's good. It's cool and everything. I just thought it was kind of, I don't know. Wasn't a big fan of it. No, your head's in the sand because he said it's in the sand. You don't get to choose. It's like how he says, I'm all flustered and upset. That just means I'm flustered and upset. I can't argue that. It doesn't matter if I'm smiling or skipping down the street. If he says that, dang it, that's the truth. You can't argue with it. Yep, 100%. Only ones that benefit. Not sure why. When I do a Facebook video, it always goes right into the next one. Here's another awesome teacher. She's the greatest. Oh, wait, hang on. She's as great a teacher as I am a producer. This is a teacher from San Marcos High School, Alyssa Piro. She was taped going off at students in a Zoom call that was later posted online. In it, she dares parents who think she is not doing a good job at distance learning to come at me. Remember when parents and teachers were partners?
Put them in that situation.
My question is, in your case, where is the white student union? Because we need all races
You
equality.
need a white student union, Jake.
Oh.
You get everything.
Your parent wants to talk to me about their profession and their opinion on their profession. I would love to hear that. I know very little about anything else in the world other than education, okay? However, if your parent wants to come talk to me about how I'm not doing a good enough job in distance learning based on what you need as an individual, just dare them to come at me. Because I'm so sick to my stomach of parents trying to tell educators how to do their job. I have never once gone to a doctor's appointment and tried to tell my medical health provider how to treat me. You know why? Because I know nothing about that. I didn't get my degree in medicine. I am going off. I'm sorry. This is my go off period.
It's a real shame. I don't know why they have this scene in the middle of from some movie, and then it goes back to that.
There's a man who plays the game of life. So
Yeah, I don't know what happened with this original video. This guy did a video. He had that at the beginning. Then it went to some movie with Kirstie Alley. Then it went back to that video with the music playing on top of it. Whatever. We get the point, right? I think we get the point. Oh, wow. MAGA needs baseball bat therapy. Should I do that right? I'm sorry.
When I was younger, I used to give Reagan voters baseball bat therapy.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Sure you did, buddy. Sure you did. Put that on the, hey, can I have things that didn't happen for $100, please? Exactly, Richard. Exactly. Joseph, that's what all the tolerant left say. They always resort to violence. You know why? Because they usually can't handle a debate. It's not even necessarily that we're always right on the issues. It's the fact that it seems like the left isn't educated on. There's a lot of people on the right that aren't educated about issues. And I'm not educated on a lot of issues as well. I'll be the first person to admit that. I don't say I'm an expert at all. I go off of life experience and stuff like that. I've been around. I'm a veteran. I own my own business. Got a lot of kids. Got this going on. Got that going on. I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot. I've been watching politics for 30 years now. Oh my gosh, 30 years. Oh my gosh. Feel like that guy with the spool of wire. Why do we need to protect democracy when we're a constitutional republic? That's a good question. It's interesting they always say democracy, isn't it? How they push that word out there. You never hear anyone call it a constitutional republic ever. You're not wrong. The fight isn't left versus right. It's top versus bottom. Both sides have been lying to their voters for years. 100%. 100%. I 100% believe there's a uniparty. These guys all, do their stupid theater and then they go hang out at the same places and do the same things and whatever. They're all buddies. They all go play golf together, Let's see this one. ICE violently detains U.S. citizen standing up for his employees and also tackles his mother. Wait. ICE violently detains U.S. citizens standing up for his right. Okay, so violently, first of all, it's very violent. We're going to expect this to be very violent here. Let me pull this up on the screen since I keep exiting that out for some reason. All right. ICE violently detains U.S. citizens standing up for his employees. Are his employees illegal aliens? Because arrest that man if they are. And also tackles his mother. I remember when I was a business owner, I did construction and I never hired illegal aliens. I competed against people that hired illegal aliens, often unsuccessfully because they were able to pay their people so much less than I was able to pay. I remember a job we had shortly after I got out of the military doing construction. We were building low-income housing. We were doing the exterior cladding for these houses, and my boss at the time, before I had my own business, it was prevailing rate. So the rate was like, I forget what it was. I want to say it was like 25 an hour back then because it was a prevailing rate. So anyway, so my boss tells us all, he goes, all right, guys, listen, he's like, I want to do these jobs. I want to bid these jobs, but I can't afford to bid them and pay you guys the prevailing rate. So would you guys be willing to take a little bit less money so we can get these jobs you make prevailing rate? Because we were making like 15 an hour then. That would have been like almost a $10 an hour raise every hour. So we all talked about it. We were like, yeah, all right, we'll do it for this. This project was a couple months. And that stunk, but that's what he had to do to compete with these Mexicans that were out there doing the work for way cheaper. So anyway, let's see this violent detaining.
Leave him alone! Leave him alone! No! Leave him
What are people going to understand? No, I've been watching politics for 30 years. Bunch of crying and whining.
Grab my phone. Officer, if you're letting this happen, you're just as much the fucking guy. Where am I going? We have to go to get him out. You can check my papers.
Maybe don't get in between officers in their duty. Also, maybe don't hire illegal aliens if that's the case. I don't know if he did, but it says he's sticking up for his employees. I watched this video, and I want you to watch this one carefully. Yes, exactly. It doesn't look that violent to you, all right? This next video is the South American talking about white South Americans and just white people in general. But if you think about it, this is it's the same narrative across most levels. This is the same thing that the left teaches their people about the right. Okay, so pay attention, because this will explain a lot.
You know, so we're the generation. We're dealing with the weakest whites. The problem that South Africans have right now is that we don't understand white people. White people are inferior species to us. We are Homo sapiens. They've got Neanderthal blood in them. This is the science. And this is not science that was done by black people. It was done by them. You understand? About Clive W. Lewis, they were eugenicists. They studied this and they realized that they're inferior to blacks. The white population is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. For us, it makes no sense to descend into the savagery that they have. Whatever land that they're holding on to, either way, their numbers are dwindling. Whatever leadership that they had is dying out as well. And you know about wealth disappearing after the third generation that it's passed down to, you know. So they're on the last generation. We're dealing with the weakest whites that the world has ever seen. So we expect to have Ubuntu, humanity. Unfortunately, by the strictest definition of what a human being is, white people are just below human beings. You are negotiating with an animal, a wild dog that you're trying to train to be tamed, to be upo.
Wild dog.
You can never do that. So we're expecting Ubuntu from them. We're like, you stole our land, you butchered our people and everything else, and we just want justice. We're not out for your blood. We're not chopping off your heads. We're not doing anything. Why don't you guys understand that? Why don't you guys have Ubuntu? Why don't you guys have a heart? They don't, because they're incapable of that. You cannot expect the same behavior of a human being that you're expecting of a dog.
That's the narrative, right? So someone shows some trust or backs, government or whatever, and people say, you can listen to everything government says, that's fine. So it's like, oh, that means that you can just completely dismiss that person, right? Because they think something different than you do, right? That was an old one. Let's get rid of that one. I already did that one. Let's see. All right, manganese baseball bat therapy. I got yeah, you voted for a billionaire. So what? So what? Why being a billionaire doesn't make you evil by itself? That just being a billionaire doesn't make you a bad guy. I know the left looks at rich people and people that are successful in life, and they vilify them and they are angered by that success that they might have had. I heard of somebody, I don't even know if it was a comedian or what it was, but I heard something a long time ago. The guy was telling a story, and he said he was sitting there on the porch of like the local store with his grandkid or whatever, and a limo drove by, and the grandkid was saying stuff about he was mad about it. He was jealous. That kind of a reaction, and the old guy told him, "Don't do that. Go talk to that person. Find out how they did it. And then you do it too. Don't just be mad at someone just because they're rich or just because they're successful. That doesn't make any sense." Yeah, right. I have to agree with all. Do I have to agree with all laws, past or present, for you to try to make a coherent argument? No one? Yeah, no one cares, dude. We all get it. You're in here repeating stuff and trying to take over the chat. We get it, man. No one cares about your stupid questions. No one cares about your points about MAGA. No one cares, man. None of us care. You spoke up a couple times in chat. Each time I smacked you down with facts. That's it. That's it. Where you go from here, I don't know. But man. Oh, here we go. Let's get this on there. We'll have to mute the sound, I guess, but this is just a little thing that someone put together. Innocent people killed by ICE agents. Let me know when you see any innocent people. I see 3 people, but I don't see any innocent ones. Okay. No, there's sad music, so I'll put mine on. All right. There we go. We'll put some sad music on for it. So these people get killed trying to run, and then it's ICE murdered them. That's a cool narrative. All right, that's enough of that garbage. Enough of that garbage. Don't put yourself in those positions, and then you won't have to worry about it. Why does that seem so hard? I don't know. Actually, yes, being a billionaire is against what the Bible says. No one needs more than 900 million. And you're out here calling people for real Christians, looking for real Christians, questions people's hearts and stuff. Okay. For a reason you don't get that successful by being nice. You can believe in myth as much as you want, but that level of wealth accumulation comes at a moral cost. No, it doesn't. That's just what angry lefty people say that hate rich people. Oh, he's rich. That means he did something bad. It's like the Job's friends in the Bible that just assumed Job did something bad to get that punishment. People on the left think that the rich people did something bad to get that benefit. It's often true, but not always true. So you can't say that. It's not a absolute. What shape do you think the Earth in? I mean, I don't think it's flat. That's what we're getting at. Yes, it is easier to ride a camel through the eye of a needle than for a wealthy man to enter the kingdom of heaven. But that doesn't say it's impossible. That doesn't say the Bible's against it. It just means that when you have all that money, you face a lot more temptation in life. So it's harder for you to enter. Yeah, still waiting for that coherent argument to come through. So yeah, it does say that in the Bible clearly, but that's got more to do with the difficulty of getting there than being evil because you have money. So I get Bold, who doesn't really understand the Bible, jumps on that and goes, "Oh, that's it. I proved my point." Not really the case, though. Sorry, not really the case. Being rich doesn't make someone bad. Amen. That being said, I can see how I might be blessed by not being wealthy. I've escaped a lot more temptation. Amen. Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what he was talking about. It's easier to... this was a little chat conversation, I guess. Highest degree. Okay. Where are we at here? All right, so it's Saturday. Anyone got anything cool going on Saturday? I don't know if there's any protests around. I'd like to go see. I'd have to go see. Yeah, like it's interesting. I don't know what this one is, but people were saying, I actually just said this the other day. People have been saying that Biden died in 2019, and we've been looking at a puppet since then. Oh, no one cares. Again, no one cares. So I'll give you just a 1 minute one for spamming the chat with your stupid questions. They say that happened. I did bring this up because I remember back in the day, there was a couple times when he would go out and speak, and he would have like 8 or 9 lines across his forehead, and just seemed weird because he didn't always have that. So I'm kind of curious what this video is trying to show us here. Oh, this is a woman watching on TV.
You can't tell me this is normal. Look at his forehead. This is bullshit. That's a mask. That's a skin mask. It ain't normal. Look at it. You can't tell me this is normal.
He has a point.
Look at his forehead. This is bullshit. That's a mask.
She has a point there. I mean, I remember seeing that way back in the day and kind of going, huh.
Well, that is something that I'm working.
Oh, Nancy. Oh, Nancy.
How is your office responding to the pauses in gender affirming care here in California?
Well, that is something that I'm working for at the national level, and we have how can I say it, are hoping that we can have gender affirming care for our trans kids, and that it's a sad thing for us.
No such thing.
I'm not totally. I don't know what effect we can have nationally with what we have going on in the White House and in the Congress. It's really very sad. If you were there, outside our door, we have a trans flag. Outside of our door in the office, congressional office building, we have the trans flag, as do some of our other colleagues. But that view is not necessarily shared by people on the other side of the aisle.
She might have been a little drunk there. I think she usually is, right? Tier 3 tinfoil hatter MAGA. Is that a sentence? Was that a sentence? I'm not sure that was a sentence. This way is determined by your interpretation. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. I've said for years, like even with that like Pizzagate and all these other things that have been going on, and eating babies and all that other crap. I remember hearing about it back in the day, and I was like, yeah, get out of here. Like most people are kind of, come on, man. Come on. But, I'd still tell myself in the back of my head, I wouldn't be surprised. I've seen so much stuff, I wouldn't be surprised. And, hey, look what's coming out, man. It's pretty ridiculous. I think I brought this up before. There's this really good website. I'm going to put it in a link in the chat here. A really decent website. This guy went and quote unquote weaponized his autism. It made this really awesome website with all the files on it, all the information, everything. It's absolutely ridiculous. Got it broken down, all documents, flight laws, emails, court filings, FBI reports, disposition, whatever. He has all that there. And then like when you click on one, it'll have other links to other files that are kind of attached to that one. It really puts it together a lot smoother than obviously the government website can do it, because it is what it is. He's not accepting the reality that historically rich people and people in power aren't the greatest. I understand how people, yeah, maybe the rich people with more power face a lot more temptation. Maybe the rich people or whatever, the famous and wealthy and all that stuff, maybe their bad deeds are just seen more than regular people's bad deeds. Maybe, right? Why not contemplate those ideas? You could say surely that, bad people in history had money, but those are historical figures that people were looking at already. You know what I mean? Like you got your regular gas station attendant. He's not going to face the same amount of temptation as some rich person would. You know what I mean? So that, that's a tricky one there. That's a tricky one. Where are we at here? I'm Southern Baptist, but I don't use Christianity to seem better than anyone. I do my own thing. Christianity, that's great. Your Christianity doesn't make you better than anyone else. So that's great. Keep spamming. Oh my gosh, dude. We're going to give you a 10-minute timeout now for spamming. You just take 10 minutes there, Bold. Remember, this is my channel, not your channel. I control it. You don't. That's how it works here. It might be upset because it might even be gone by the time he gets back, and then he won't be able to come and yell and scream and at the end of the shows like he always does and put like a whole bunch of messages on there and stuff. That's cool. I'll take that. We are all sinners who've fallen short of the glory of God. Amen. Amen. Matter of fact, today's prayer, I didn't do today's prayer. I'm gonna have to try to read it out of the book today. We'll see. Let's see. It's pretty small print, so bear with me. February 21st. God hath attended to the voice of my prayer. Man, I can't see this. O thou God of all grace. Father, I can't read it. We'll have to just go. I'll post it after. Can't read these tiny words. I need stronger glasses. We'll get to it. I'll post it up on as soon as we're done with the show here. You can't say they usually do it through immoral means. The beginning of that statement, sure, that's my point. Power can corrupt and can reveal inner evil, so those who cover it and accumulate wealth and power usually do it through immoral means. Yeah, I don't agree with that part. That's you can't say that. There are some that get it through immoral means, and there's some that don't. But yes, the power can absolutely corrupt.
This is a old school hater that's been following me around for years. You mags will forever be known for defending their crimes. Forever.
All right, Robert. Your beard is, Bud, your beard is graying out, getting stressed over nothing. I don't get stressed, really. I don't get stressed. It's like, you know, and then you have people out there that try to get you stressed, and I don't get stressed, really. I will say, when I had my first kid, I mean, I didn't have, when my wife had our first child, I remember after the birth, which was a rough one not for me necessarily, but I remember leaving the hospital afterwards just to run home, get a shower, and then come back. And I remember looking in the mirror, and my beard, there was one hair right here, right in the middle, that had turned white. Just one. I think I was only 30. So yeah, that's where my gray hair started. Enjoy them dogs. Truth. Power amplifies what's inside, good or evil. Money amplifies what's inside, good or evil. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, tomorrow I'm going to put together another kind of spiritual show. We'll try to keep it on that tip for Sundays. For a good Christian message or whatever, you know, we need more of that sometimes to get off the politics stuff and talk about love and, you know, beating addiction and facing loneliness and dealing with depression and that kind of stuff. Because I think we all, at least half of us in this chat have dealt with those kind of things in our past. And it's important that we can talk to each other, really. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Hypocrisy runs deep. Any good billionaire you may have in mind, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna play that game. I'm not the judge of people. I don't know everything that happens in the dark corners of our minds, other people's minds and stuff. So it would be silly of me to say that that's a good person or a bad person. Sure, you know, you can point to immoral behavior to acquire that wealth, and if that's, you know, I'm willing to look at that, obviously, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, that's a bad billionaire and that's a good billionaire. Who the hell am I to do that? Well, till we get our shit together, most likely, but most likely not. But see y'all tomorrow. Yeah. So on a side note, I'm an alcoholic. I quit 7 years ago. I have a pretty interesting story. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow too. In the meantime, like, share, and subscribe. Share this out to your friends. Put it on your social media if you could. Check out my store, Shop MagAmericans, shop.magamericans.com. Check out the website, magamericans.com, for links and info and stuff like that. Amen. Amen, Lone Wolf. There is no one who is absolutely good aside from Jesus. There is no human I could point to and say they're good. Amen. Amen. Absolutely. So smile at a stranger today. Sometime during the day, find a stranger you're walking past on the street or whatever it takes and smile at them. Smile at them and pray for your enemies. Jesus says to pray for our enemies. We have to do it. Pick the most challenging enemy you can think of. Pick someone who's hurt you or someone that you have some kind of a deep resentment for, something like that, and pray for that person and genuinely mean it. Pray for them to be successful and happy and those kind of things. You'll be rewarded yourself for doing so. So, God bless you guys. Thanks for being here this morning. Thanks for giving us a little bit of your time and everything. And we will see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time sharp for a nice biblical message. Until then, have a great day and treat each other with love. You never know what someone else is going through.